So before the intro, my mistake, he wasn't stoking the fire. He was mixing what looked like beans in a metal container near a fire. I'm Brian.
I'm Richard.
And this is I Love You 3000 Minutes, the podcast that traveled back in time to revisit all the Infinity War movies, one glorious minute at a time. We're on minute 19 of Iron Man 1. Richard, what happened?
Tony gets some details of what happened to him. The guy explains it's electromagnetic, whatever he said. And also, I knew that was the basic concept, so last minute when I was like, oh my god, it's just that. It's because before we were thinking they made some sort of miniature arc reactor or something, and it's not that. So it's not like I'm some wicked smart guy that just recognized based on the setup or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't know any other way to refer to it because I knew it was an arc reactor eventually.
Yeah.
But
now it's still extremely crude and saw-like.
And I forgot how... it's not even really rough around the edges, but comparatively to how we remember Jensen, a man named Hope, which is an Iron Man 3 thing, which they go back to, they revisit. We all see him as this like warm father figure, kind of like how Stanley Tucci is to Captain America. And I forgot that he's kind of like just brief with him, or terse, or rough around the edges, where he's just like, I wouldn't do that.
I thought that other guy in the cave with Tony was a prisoner, but he might be like their doctor, but I don't know.
He might be, but he is the prisoner. By the way, anyone who knows what an atrial septum is, please comment it. So stuff like him just and then tossing it to him and being like, it's hooked up to a car battery and stopping it from going into your heart. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. We're on candid camera. Surprise. He's not... If you just had to tell me how he was, I would have imagined and be like, hey, you've got something that we call the Walking Dead, because it will kill you, and I did the best I could. But, I just remember him being warm because they developed a camaraderie later on in the film that earned Tony his compassion. Like, he did his job and he did everything he could, but he wasn't doing it out of pure compassion for him or selflessness. Tony actually earns it from him during their time together, which I like.
Mm-hmm. And some things you can get from, what's the character's name?
Jensen.
It
means hope. They say that in Iron Man 3. I finally met a man named Hope.
Mm-hmm. And so basically some information you get, his village is war-torn because they get, war-torn, sure, because they get plenty of wounds like that, and, that sucks, and he's still smart enough and managed to get educated enough. He went to a technical conference that Tony happened to be at, and they've,
ironically,
he's a smart guy.
His village comes back later. I don't know if they say it in this minute, but Golmira. No, he just says his village, and he says they met in a technical conference in Bern. Burn.
Yeah. He might seem a little too casual because he's so over being a prisoner. He's like, this sucks, but he was skilled enough and did what he could with some really rudimentary tools to save his life, technically.
Yeah. And like you pointed out in the last minute, an electromagnet hooked up to a car.
Yeah.
Jeez. Actually, at the time when I saw this movie, I think I was still working at a movie theater, and it was either Crown or Regal, but at Regal, because it was the same theater, but it went through ownership, and now it's an AMC, they would have us intro the movie and go around and be like, hey, everybody, welcome to Regal, Carasotes. It was Carasotes. Just as a reminder, please turn off all your cell phones, blah, 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 have a nice show. And I would get so bored at my job. I would get bored at all my jobs that I would make it fun. I'd be like, all right, so just note, turn off all your cell phones, pagers, laptops, car batteries, Xboxes. And just go. I had this whole big speech. I would literally remember at least 10% of the time I would get a standing ovation. I'd be like, all right, bye. And I'd run out and then hit the wall, go, ow! But that was around the same time that this movie came out. Because I remember seeing Superman Returns, and that was an abomination.
So, anything else about Jensen?
I was just gonna ask you anything else about this minute.
Tony looks pissed. He's like, what kind of bullshit cave am I in?
Well, at one point, he even zips up his jacket so he doesn't have to look at it anymore. He gets uncomfortable with it.
Or to protect it.
Yeah, potentially. But he sees the shrapnel through. He said he took a lot out, but he only saved a few to show him. Yeah, there's nothing really fun about this place. Just some dark lighting. All they got is these like fluorescent kind of lights and the fire, and no ventilation for their smoke. But it's dark and dirty, and I can't imagine Robert Downey Jr. filming anything this grimy in the Iron Man films. But yeah, anything else for this minute?
I'm good.
That's minute 19.
I'm Richard.
I'm Brian.
You've got an army.
We've got a podcast. I almost said Hulk.
Almost.